This Saturday, an original musical is making its debut in the form of a staged reading. Now, the creative team of Relapse, the musical, is here to tell us all about the show and what it has to offer the community. So welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Hello.
So great to have you here. We were just talking about creativity and how, you know, for some people it's a really cool way to express yourself. For some people it's cathartic. And now you found a really neat way to kind of create a show out of this. So Alex, tell us about the concept for the show and the idea behind it.
Yes, the concept of the show is an exploration of addiction from the perspective of the support system rather than from the perspective of the addict. It was something that I have percolated on for a long time. Addiction is in my family in many forms and is also very present in the community. I mean, everybody knows somebody who's impacted by the disease, and I was watching, like, having that rolling around in my brain at the same time as the pandemic arrived and suddenly stripped away all of these support systems and changed life as we know it. And when everything got shut down, what was left open but the grocery stores, the hospitals, and the liquor stores. And seeing the impact of that within my friends, within the community, statistically, the numbers are really alarming as to how that moment in time just shot everything up in terms of fatal liver disease and relapses and mental health episodes. It's just something that this is my way of trying to find understanding for it.
That is a very unique perspective to take for a show, because I think a lot of times when people think about addiction, they jump to what is it like for the addict, what is the struggle they're going through. And a lot of times people don't put as much emphasis on how hard it is on the support partners or how challenging it is, that relationship of trying to help somebody who's maybe got this issue. And you're right, I think during the pandemic, that was a really tough time on people. And so a lot of people, whether your addiction is eating or gambling or drugs or alcohol, whatever it is, in times of stress, it's easiest to lean on that. So thank you for putting this show together.
Anytime.
Because I think it's gonna, I think it's gonna be a really, really great thing to share with the community and kind of get that new perspective. So how has it been to see this vision to come to life with, you know, your group of actors now?
It's been really, really cool. We've been working on this for a long time now, and to hear those words come out of somebody else other than like the little dolls in my head who act it out when I write it, or, you know, working on it musically, it's a really different experience, and it just breathes a whole new life into the piece.
Yeah, and I think music is such a huge part of telling a story. It really sets the stage. So Shannon, how was it writing the music for this?
You know, it was really interesting. I think I've never written music like this collaboratively before. And so it was really just, I don't know, it was really interesting to just be able to write music in a different way and kind of like share, kind of like add on to a story and make it more concise, but also like represent like emotions that are kind of hard to express through words in a cool way. So it's been really interesting and like reflective to write music this collaboratively for something on such like an important issue that affects myself and like a lot of others, like kind of like what Alex was saying.
It's got to be a little bit challenging too, because you really have to kind of get into the mindset of the story you're trying to tell, and this is a really tough topic. So I'm sure that was really kind of interesting for you. What are you hoping that the audience takes out of this?
I hope that people who have lived an experience like this or lived an experience next to this, that they walk away feeling seen, and that somebody understands the almost just the impact of this disease outside of the context of the initial person. And for those who don't have that experience, I hope that they walk away with a better understanding. I mean, one of my professors in college read an earlier version of the script, and I asked her, like, you don't necessarily have this experience with addiction, like, what did you take away from it? And she said that it colored everything in a new light, like stories that she had heard from friends, or things that had been passed down from her grandmother about, you know, generational addiction. She saw everything in a new light and understood better what that experience is like and what that does. The story focuses on a parent-child relationship, what that does to children, what that does to family members, trying to help somebody through this, and the ways that you can take that on, not even knowing when you're pouring so much into yourself, when you're pouring so much of yourself into somebody else, it leaves you hollow as well. And that's a very nuanced thing to try and get across in a script, and a very nuanced thing to try and digest on all fronts, whether you have that experience or you don't.
I'm sure either way this will create a new form of empathy, kind of seeing it from a different perspective. So how is the stage reading different from if somebody were to go to a traditional theater viewing experience?
That is a fabulous question. If you arrive at this staged reading expecting a wonderful set and bombastic special effects, you will be very disappointed. But it is something that allows us to sort of present the show as the idea of the show and really get as much of it across as we possibly can to see if people are interested in getting those big budgets, you know.
Awesome. How can somebody get tickets?
They can arrive. Tickets
Yay.
are completely free thanks to a grant from the Lakes Region Arts Council, and it is at MSUM's Fox Recital Hall this Saturday at 7:30.
Fantastic. And stay with us, because coming up next we're actually going to hear a song from the show. I'm very excited to see what you put together, so just hang out. We'll be right back.